Apple Knocker Radio.
I think that's really the meat of the book. Is I walked away from the book with a very well, relative to somebody who had no base before, but a pretty solid sense for the Russian spiritual thinking tradition, history. And that's really more what I want to focus on. And so in these archetypal patterns, in these philosophical themes that run through the ideas, it seems to me that the kernel of it, or at least one of the core ideas, is the millenarian concept.
Yeah.
And I practiced saying that word getting ready for this interview. I don't know why it's such a difficult word to pronounce, but so could you discuss generally the millenarian idea, just as a general concept, and then specifically its role and its importance in the Russian spiritual tradition?
Yes. Well, this millenarian idea is very deeply rooted in the Russian soul. And I think it probably goes back to the time when Russia adopted the Orthodox religion, when Russia began to see itself as the third Rome, as they called it. The first Rome being the one on the Tiber, the second being Constantinople, and the third being Russia. So they saw themselves as in a way as the replacement of the two previous Romes, as a sort of spiritual leader of the world. And this idea has stayed with them, and it's taken various forms. There is the classic, the sort of classic apocalyptic scenario, which is very, very common theme in Russia. So you have a time when the Antichrist or the beast comes, as in Revelation, and institutes a reign of evil, until he's defeated by a savior who, sometimes he's seen as Christ returned, or in some cases as what the Russians call the woman clothed with the sun. This is a kind of Sophia figure, Sophia being the feminine aspects of the Logos. And this Sophia figure is very prominent in the Russian psyche. Well, she's already prominent in the Orthodox religion because, for example, the great church in Constantinople was dedicated to Sophia, and she's remained a very powerful figure in Russian tradition. So that's another sort of millenarian theme, and the expectation of a new age runs right through Russian history, right up to the present day. Marxism was in a way a kind of apocalyptic doctrine, because you had this dialectic of history, which Marx got from Hegel, basically, which ends in the triumph of the proletariat, and the ushering in of a perfect communist society. It's nearly always a threefold process. So you have the reign of the Antichrist, and then the return of Christ or some other savior, and then a new golden age. This is something that crops up again and again, and as I say, it's still there.